And while you're there, I mean, you said earlier in the podcast you were in college, you were working, working on your craft of writing. While
Mhm.
you're there, are you doing any writing at all? Are you writing in your head? Or are you thinking about stories that you want to write once you
Mhm.
get home? How did this all start happening?
Not really. My Marine, I mean, like, I'm working on writing with my Marines. I wrote like one or two stories, not about the war or anything like
Yeah,
that. You know, just trying to continue to write a little bit.
about a bakery in
I,
Queens.
yeah. But then I got back. Within a couple of months of getting back, I started writing the first story in Redeployment. So, I wrote the sentence, "We shot dogs," which was the first sentence of the book that I wrote, and remained the first sentence of the book. And sort of went from
When
there.
you wrote that sentence, was that, I mean, did you have some feeling that you were like, something kind of clicked in your head, or was the story already in your mind that you wanted to write?
Yeah, so that I like that sentence and that voice, right? So the opening paragraph of that story felt right. The story changed. It took me a couple of years to finish it, but the overall shape of it remained the same,
Mm-hmm.
and the voice remained the same. Um, it was something that story is not set during the time that I was deployed to Iraq. It's set during the second battle of Fallujah, which was in 2004, and the aftermath. And that actually Elliot Ackerman was in that battle. And it was based on a guy that I knew, two folks that I knew who had been in that battle and told me about shooting dogs. But some of the stories specifically were from a guy named Mike Green, who'd been a machine gunner then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, who told me about Operation Scooby and had said to me, "There's a sentence in that story. I could spot a dime in the street 20 yards away." That's something he told me, right? He uncovered a torture house where they'd been injecting mercury into a retarded guy's skull
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. So a lot of some of the images are from stories that Mike Green told me before I ever deployed, that had just sort of been rattling around in my head. But then when I came back from Iraq, uh, those those things, and you also put in other stuff and do more research, but um, felt like a sort of good way into talking about some of the things that would later concern me throughout that book, which was a lot about sort of homecoming and the experience of coming home and interacting with people after you've been in a war zone, and the sort of what they project on you and what you project on them, and the difficulties of communication.